Hey guys, I've had a few questions on how I'm playing Pokemon online whilst the Pokemon TCG is down, and I'm sure there is a few tutorial videos out there, but I figured I'd just do a little one. Maybe I'd show you something that isn't in those videos. I haven't personally watched them, but anyway. So this is how I play Pokemon. I play it on a website called www.playtcg.me, or you can do playtcg.com. That still finds its way to that website. But before you can even sort of entertain the idea of playing on this website, you need to head over to this site instead, which is www.bebiessearch.com. So just like the Bebies search card. And on here, this is where you can actually create your own custom decks. And quite cool, as I've done this video on the 4th of August 2012, they've actually put up the Dragon's Exalted cards. So you can start playtesting all your like black and white onwards decks, trying out the new cards like Fluffchomp, Garbodor, trying out Amoonguss, Ninetales, so I've just had a little go with, and see if the deck is actually viable and worth using. Instead of going out there buying the cards or trading for those cards, and you can play around with numbers and stuff. So it has various other cool uses, as well as not only getting to play guys around the world playing Pokemon. If you don't even have the cards, you can still play without having to fork out money for the cards. But for us people who play cards, it's a good way to deck test. So to start an account, the best way is just click on deck lists. And that will load up this little thing here, which will allow you to log in if you've got login details, or just register for free. So very simple, just type in your email here, confirm your email, select a password, confirm your password, select a screen name, so it can be anything, put in your county country code, state, province, all that stuff. Country code helps fucking read. And then just agree to terms, and they'll send you an email with a little confirmation number. And then you can log in. So anyway, I obviously have an account, and I am going to log into it. I will probably black out this because it is my personal email, and I don't want you guys spamming me. So I'll log in. And once you're logged in, obviously I clicked on the deck lists. I'm taken to the deck lists area. Here is lists all your deck lists. Obviously you won't have any. So I'll show you how to make a new deck. So to make a new deck, click over here onto deck list name, and then just give it a name. So let's call this YouTube video deck. Yeah, win stuff. And then click add a deck. And once you've done that, your long ass name will go over here and the date at which you made it. Oh, it looks like it's the 5th of August, not the 4th of August. Okay, so to edit a deck, once you've created a deck, click on the magnifying glass, and by clicking on that, it will take you to this screen. And here you have sort of like a your deck editing with a list of your Pokemon, your trainers, supporters, and stadiums all collected together, your energies all collected together. And then you can, if you want to, edit the name of your deck down here. It'll list the number of cards you've got to help you make sure you don't go over the 60 card limit. You can write a little description. You can also set it so it's available for other people, so when they play online they can use your deck. Give them a little hint of the strategy, and then you've got the save button down there. And also once you've, if you don't like a deck anymore, you can just delete it. So let's talk about the searching for cards. Now, you can just click on this drop-down window and try and search for the card, but it'll take you absolutely forever. So there are two ways which you can search for the card. You can either search by name or by its set name and number with an abbreviation. So, for instance, if let's search for a card which we should all be using, Professor Juniper. So by typing in Professor, we got all the Professor cards that are currently still playable, because it still has the Heart Gold Soul Silver stuff that's not technically rotated out yet. So we've obviously got Professor Elm's Training Method from Heart Gold Soul Silver and Call of Legends, the two different Junipers, and we've got Ponce. So let's click on Juniper because I prefer that artwork. You can then click on the magnifying glass, which will then load up the card. Just make sure you have selected the correct card, and then here you can select the number. So we're going to go for 4, and then bang on the add card. And then there it goes. She'll pop up in our Trainer Supporter Stadium window. So there we go, we have our Professor Juniper. If for some unknown reason you don't want Juniper, you can click on here, and then you can delete the card from your deck. Or if you want to edit the numbers, so you don't actually want to run 4, click on the pencil, and then that will allow you to change the numbers. So we'll drop down to 3, then click back on the pencil to confirm the change, and see how the numbers of cards are changing as I'm editing the decks. A neat little feature I found, if you are playing the 100 card singleton, which I am building a deck for, you can semi-playtest them on here, because by clicking on the edit thing here, will actually allow you to search for some older cards. So I want Versus Seeker in my deck. So I do a search for Versus Seeker, and would you know it, there it is, Versus Seeker. So you can get a few old cards. Say like for instance, oh, I don't like the new Rare Candy. I like the Rare Candy artwork from an older set, so I want that in my deck. So just do a search for Rare Candy, and all the Rare Candies that kind of have been... Oh, hello. Hang about, don't press return. Do a search for Rare Candy, and then give it a second. I'll load up the Rare Candies. There we go. So we've got all the various sets. So let's go for this Rare Candy, and then click on the tick to accept it, and then we can look at it. And because I added a different card, it has obviously gone up here. So you can either search there, which is easier. We'll do a search here. So there we go. I've got a Rare Candy from a different set, which was before I was playing Pokemon competitively, so I have no idea what the GE stands for. Yeah, so but we don't want that in our deck. So there we go. We'll delete a card and get it out of the way. A little tip, when you're searching for N, so you can click clear to clear the box of manually deleting it as well. If you just type in N, it will just go from the A's. So N is a pain in the ass to find. But N is DE96. And that'll get you the Dark Explorers N. I actually prefer this artwork. I know there is the full art version, but I really like this one. So that's how you can get yourself N, and we can add the card. And bam, there goes our N. With energy, very easy again. Just say you want some fire energy, we just type in fire, and we'll get some fire. So we can either have the black and white style artwork, or we can have the different Heart Gold, Soul Silver, or the Core Legends. So let's go for this one. And when you try to put a card that has try and add more than 4 of a card, it'll just double check. Are you sure you want more of that? And obviously we can have more. We have as many basic energy cards in our deck as we want. So bam, there we go. So basically, yeah, search your cards out, build yourself a deck. When you're done, you can click on, you can do a little deck check as well, and that'll kind of give you a little bit of information how many cards you've got. So fail, we haven't completed the condition to complete a deck of having 60 cards. Fail, we have no basic Pokemon. 4 card violation. No, we've got no more 4 cards. We've got no more duplicates of a card. So obviously, like various different artworks, and we haven't got any cards that aren't in rotation. Out of rotation. So 10 seconds to hide that. So there we go. So I just delete, and then we click save. I'll just save it. Save the deck, and therefore it will just confirm that's been saved. So we click back on deck lists. There we go. There it is. YouTube. Couldn't spell YouTube correctly. And then there you go. We go back into editing it. So that's pretty straightforward on how we build our decks. Now to play the game, we go to playtcg.me or playtcg.com. We then click on the play button. It will then again ask us to log in with the same details we have from our Bebe's search account. So we'll go ahead and type in our email. I haven't tried typing in my username. I just always type in my email. I don't know why. And then bang, click in login. And then it will take us to this little announcement. So you've kind of got a little forum sort of style thing here where you can chat to people, and people can moan about people who don't play the game properly or old cards and whatnot, and various stuff. I don't tend to read it too much. It's just got information how, because the interface is quite simple. So just showing you sort of some things that you have to manually do yourself. And then we click continue to game. By clicking continue to game, it will show all available public games. At the moment, there is no public battles available for me to join. But there is a password game. This guy's been waiting 48 minutes for someone to play with him, and he's put a password. Maybe he hasn't realised he's put a password. This will keep refreshing every so often as well to try and find new games. So let's create a new battle. So we're clicking on the create new battle. Again, we'll be taken to another screen, and here we can actually pick decks. So there's a Gothitelle deck, Yamega Manga Zone deck. So you can go for the decks. or you can use a community deck. So new format of Zekil. So we've got some people's decks here, which are quite cool. You can scroll through the pages, and your decks will be here. So I'm not going to obviously use an illegal deck, so I'll just click create on my Ninetales Amogus, and then we get the final sort of window before we start playing. Well, there'll be one more after that, where we get to pick, are we going to have a private game? So no one can join your game unless you send them the link. So that's if you want to play directly with a friend of yours. You know, you can set up the game, and then it'll in the next page it will generate a link which you can send to them. It does it actually for all types, even if you do public or password. And then you've got a public game, that means anyone can join, or a password game, so you know you can kind of keep your game even more protected. So let's just click on private game, just you know for now, because it might take a while. I can always back up and then do a public game, so it'll take a little while. So now it's generated our game, and that's our link. So I can copy that and send it to my friend, and we'll be able to play. And then here's some more options, and then just waiting for the opponent. So if we just go back, and I'll just quickly make this a public game, hopefully we won't have to wait too long for someone to join. So, oh no, it's just dropped out. So hang on a second, because I backed up. So let's go back again, create the game, public game, continue. Give it a second, it just has a little thing. There we go, so now it's created my public game. So anyone's sort of like waiting for a game will, you know, my link is available. So all I have to do is just sit here and wait for an opponent to join the battle. Or again, you can send this link to a friend and they'll come and play. Or here we go, bang, I'm straight in the game. Now, one thing you may find, which I find on my MacBook Pro, is that when it starts up, I can't see the toolbar at the stop. So you can manually drag cards from your deck into your hand. Your opponent can't see this section. Or what you can do, by holding the control button, you can press, well actually on Mac, well on PC or Windows, if we hold control. On Mac it's hold the Apple key or the command key, and then press minus to zoom out. So there we go, I can zoom out a couple of times, and now I have access to all the menu. So here I've got a deck, now I've drawn one card, so I'll draw another 6. And that automatically draw cards to your hand. Now, if you were to use this again to draw, I'm probably going to piss this guy off, so I'm just going to say, sorry dude. But anyway, he doesn't look like he's doing anything anyway. So what you should do is, once you've got cards, if you draw any more cards, let's say it was my turn, I won't draw one, it'd hide it amongst there. So what you need to do is go to hand, go to arrange, and that'll arrange your cards for you. And then you can then obviously see if we've got any basics. I've got a basic, I'll pop it into there. Don't click on this yet. If you click on here, it'll automatically flip that card up so your opponent will see what card you've got. So it's always best to wait till you set up before you click on this thing here. And then once you've done that, you click on deck, or hover over deck, and you've got place your prizes. And I'll ask you what do your prizes, and automatically, bam, your 6 prizes are in there. And then you can start the game. Generate etiquette, say hello to people, do a dice roll for heads or tails, ask them what heads or tails, and then once everything is set up, click off that, and then click on the flip. Basically, I'll zoom in again so you can see, because this is really far out. When you mouse over any card, you've got the option of flip and view. So that'll flip it over so he can see that it's available for him to see, or just being hidden. And then same on your opponent's field. You can't flip their cards, but you can, obviously, you may not know from if you're playing really far out what card that is. You click on view, and it will load up the card. So you can see what your opponent is playing with. And you can then drag it around as you desire, and you can zoom out that far and you can zoom in that far. So pretty straightforward how you play the game. Just manually, you have to manually attach energies. This guy, well, this guy's joined my game and not even playing. You've got this for damage counters, so you can damage counters again. I'll zoom in so you can see, and then you've got a little. You can click on there, and then you can. Oh, because I'm zoomed right in, you can't see. If you zoom on there, and then a dialog window up, so you can then type in, I've done 300 billion damage. No, I didn't like that. Alright, I've just done 30. You can put 30s or 3 or whatever. And the cool thing is, obviously, it shows everything you're doing in the text box. So, you know, you can see if your opponent is doing things, or if they're like, oh, I haven't attached an energy, but it says, you know, hand card, move from hand. It doesn't say what the card is, but you can kind of keep track on the battle. I normally move this out of the way and be a bit more zoomed in, not that far. And then you've got conditions. So we've got burn, confusion, sleep, paralysis, and S. I don't know. Maybe that's Z might be paralysed. Yeah, Z is paralysed, P is poison, S is sleep. That makes sense, doesn't it? Because Z is paralysed. So your little thingy's there, and you can keep dragging as many dice as you want. But you know, just use the same one. Just grab it again, roll it, and obviously the result shows up in the window as well. Yeah, and there's basically in all the controls here. So we've got new. So new would basically mean all your cards would shuffle back into your deck, including your prizes. You can just go straight to setup, and what that does, that draws you 7 and does your prizes. So that's one way you can do it as well. I mean, it does the hand first, so you know you get your basics. You're not going to have cards going to this. If it did the prizes first, then obviously it reduces your chance of getting your basics. Is what I'm trying to utter out while I'm mumbling like a moron. And then in deck, you've got shuffle your deck. So if you've because if you just put a card on top of the deck like this, it puts it to the bottom of the deck. See if I do this, it's not a Sharon. Okay, maybe it was a Sharon. Let's try it again. Maybe I had another Sharon in it. Switch. Okay, now it's doing it. Earlier, when you put cards on top, it was not putting on top, it was putting it on the bottom. But you can just shuffle your deck. Like that. And then you've got draw cards, place your prizes, search. So you can search your deck if you play a level ball or whatever. You can then search your deck for a card. And you've got the same, you can search your discard. I've also got no cards in my discard. You can search your opponent's discard, see what they've got. You can show all your prizes. If you obviously that for some reason, maybe more if you're playing a card that does this. Hand, show your hand to show that you're mulliganed. You can discard your whole hand. So if I play Juniper, discard my whole hand, and then I can then draw X, I'll draw X, so I can then go draw 7 or whatever. Made a mistake. Arrange. And then, if you've got loads of cards in your hand, if it's too full, you can then compress them. And then misc, you can show the chat, or you can hide the chat, deactivate chat, and then help. So you can't really affect this side of your opponent's board whatsoever, but you can, if you really want to, place damage counters on their Pokemon if they're not doing it. Some people don't, but I can't I can touch his deck, and then if I try to look at his deck, it's like, oh, being cheeky. So that's kind of how you do it. I mean, it's very much everything's manually attaching, manually drawing, manually doing stuff, manually moving cards, and like when you play like random receiver, you got to manually drag the cards out, manually drag the cards back. So, but yeah, it's cool. It's really good to get on there, get on and play, and let's play some Pokemon. One last thing. I reached 50 subs! Woohoo! So if any of you guys watch the end of this video, thank you very much for 50 subs. I may do a thank you 50 subs video. Where I might show my face. Who knows? Thumbs up. Play Pokemon so I can kick your ass.